this is Shimmy, HiCPmusic.com. Once again, like always, from down at Mass Apparel. And I'm sitting here with greatness.
It's good, yo. It's HiFadility. I want to give a big thanks to Hip Music and to Mass Apparel for having me, for sure.
I need to thank you for actually participating in Got Bars over at Got Soul.
Yeah, that was actually my first time at that spot. First time here too. So
yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
No, thank you. Just real quick, I don't want to talk too much about it, but what did you think about the site? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as you not being an artist, you being on the outside looking in, how did you feel about how it went? Because I know everybody was a big fan of the beats that you were playing. You know what I mean? So how do you think, to reciprocate it, how did you feel about the site?
I thought, I actually met Latrell, like a couple people for the first time, and I really appreciated what they had to say. It was dope for them, to see them in their craft, like freestyle, and to see all the different people that actually helped to make an event go down.
Okay.
So I really appreciated that, seeing people get together and having like a proactive event.
Definitely, it was a real beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You don't even know how many people came up to me after looking for you. I'm like, you have to find that man.
It was mad fun because I've never done that before. You know what I mean? Like, usually if I'm part of a cipher, I'm just behind turntables, not even really, making anything live. There's really no like creative interaction for me. And like for y'all to invite me and say, you can make beats live, for me that was really dope.
Definitely, I appreciate it. Alright, so before we were having a conversation and you brought up something interesting that I needed to talk about. You said that you didn't want to be thought of as a producer, but you wanted to be thought of as a composer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I'm still like trying to figure out what it means for myself too.
Okay.
But a lot of the times, what I realize is you have this like title after, like a song track, and it's produced by whomever. And a lot of the times, this producer could have spent no more time than like 30 minutes making something after having, like taking a bunch of samples and taking all these different sounds. And there is something to appreciate from that too, like you could rework old music and reimagine it. I think that's definitely extremely creative. But then there's also the part of it where if you're using instruments, and like you're getting into how that fits into the recording process, then of course you're still a producer. It's just interesting to see how that plays into, I guess, just other musical genres. Just because I'm not always just making hip hop, I've gone from composing classical, like I've done ballets before. I've done like EDM. I was like a DJ for a long time as well, and just that on the composer note, it's really, I'm just trying to figure out what does it mean to really delve into making original content, and not just in the hip hop space, but also how do I play into any genre really that I have knowledge on, and how can I gain more knowledge in taking on that like creative role.
So you're a constant work in progress, basically.
Constant, it's constant. It's something like that's something that could be really stressful, especially if you don't know when to like be okay with something being over. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I sit on projects for so long and never give them life.
Oh man,
and like yeah.
As a consumer, once I like something, for example, from you, if I like something, I'm just gonna want to hear more.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate how sometimes you guys need to sit on your work, you know what I mean, until it's just right, the right time for you guys. I can definitely appreciate that. Alright, so you're a producer or a composer, for better words. What's your thoughts on the current producers coming out of the city besides yourself, of course? Is there anybody that you're a fan of?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I like listening to, like Chris Rogers and James. I guess that whole Good Karma group, I really appreciate the sound that they put together. And then a while ago, I did an event with Lightfoot, and I had the pleasure of meeting him through some of the homies we had in the brand called Miles High. They had an event for us at Kyoto Jungle back in the day. And then there's like Archetype, a bunch of people that I actually really enjoy listening to, more so to see, what are they learning and what are they displaying, because for all of us it's like a really vulnerable process to like release anything. And so it's very easy to even look at the other producers and be like, dang, that's competition. But I try not to think of it too much like that, even though, you know, it may be considered that, of course, but I try to view it in a way too. It's like where we can learn from each other. I can appreciate their art instead of just, you know, look at it and be like, oh, I can do something better. I've done that before. You know what I mean? Like it's really just I appreciate what a lot of the producers are doing. Like A-Dot, for example. Like there's a bunch of people that I've heard just from listening to other artists like G.O.D's and like the Khalifs, people like that. But then as well, like outside of hip hop, there's this group, Mother Brother, that's out in Connecticut, and they do this really interesting, like experimental electronic, like ambiance music. And I really enjoy like picking their brain over what they do too, just because it's like for all the different genres, you have all these people who are using different techniques, like using different approaches creatively. So it's really interesting.
Okay.
With one of my homies, Sebastian Kimmel, when he moved out to Cali recently, he's out with Sonos now, but he works with a bunch of individuals actually. They have a label pretty much, or they're building up like a label called Wallflower Food, and they pretty much reached out to me and some other DJs, composers, producers to hook them up with like positive electronic music, or meaning, so their whole thing is like they're all about the feel-good electronic sound, but so much of electronic music has been pumped with like drugs, you know, so like hard drugs are sometimes expected when you go to like a music festival, and so they're really delving into how do you provide like a good electronic sound, and also like support that people, you know, don't have to do hard drugs. Like they could just listen to it and like read a book, or, you know, like have a conversation, or use it for background music, or something to help them go to sleep. So he's really like getting a bunch of feel-good producers, as they call it, together. And then it got featured on Vibe and on Fresh New Tracks. Shout out to the homies from Fresh New Tracks too. Yeah, it was a. So that track Youth actually is going to be featured on my debut album that I've been working on for like a year and some change. And it's really just like a sonic experience of different people that I met growing up and certain messages that they gave me. So the Youth title that represents like my youth period and like me, you know, coming into contact with like a mentor at the time who pretty much was like, yo, you have, you know, so much time ahead of you, and really youthfulness is a mindset, and if you can keep that, and if you can keep like those qualities that make you have, you know, the energy that's like associated with being youthful, then you'll go, you know, really far. And then I'm naming the other tracks after family members, or so like one is father, another one is mother, and pretty much what these individuals like represent, not only just to me, but in the like the family dynamic, you know, whether you have one or not, like it means something. And yeah, so like experimenting with that.
That's all those ideas sound original. I've never really heard anybody pitch an idea like that, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. And when it does come out, you need to send it this way.
Definitely.
Please.
Definitely, I got you.
Are you blessing any venues for talent in the near future? You got anything coming up?
Yeah, at Middle East actually, I just got hooked up by Mike. He actually reached out and said that there was an opening for a producer showcase, and I haven't really done those that often. Like I've done one before that was at an international hip hop festival, and got great response. Like I played beats that I like never showed people, and like people were feeling it. So I'm excited to do that this time around. The 14th, I'm doing an event with Nosa. He goes by Damian Prince. He's part of like 310 Collective.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah, and I think some other individuals are gonna be involved too, like Z. I think she goes by Dark Magician. I'm not sure. That's going to be interesting just because it's another community, like another group of people who are, you know, just, you know, doing what a lot of us are trying to do, have an idea and see it, you know, manifest physically. Then going to Haiti too for a festival, which is going to be dope. It's during Easter weekend. And that's just a great experience just because it's international and people, you know, sometimes I feel like it's really easy to get bogged into what like a local scene thinks of like the quality of sound when like there's an international, like there's no boundaries to anything, you know what I mean? Like they both reflect each other. So I'm going there to really see how people like respond to what I'm doing. And like I'm hoping to bring out some people from Boston actually. Yeah, that's gonna be a dope experience.
Looking forward to hearing about them.
It's gonna be dope. Just because I feel like, especially the stereotype that Haiti has, like most people think of it as like this rundown, you know, like broken place when there's so much development, there's so much growth, you know, there's so much that's happening, and like, you know, I'm gonna go experience that. Like, you can't have a festival if it's broken. If anything, like it's showing that there's a people who don't need that much to get things done. Like they'll try to find a way, you know, regardless of all the hardship.
Definitely. Where can the people find you? Know what's going on with you.
Yeah, definitely. So on Twitter, my handle is I am HiFadility. I have a Facebook page, which is the same thing. And I'm really direct too, so if anybody like reaches out to me, I definitely like try to communicate back or like exchange info. Like I try to be as open as possible just because I feel like that's what the creative spaces need. Like you need people who are like open to having like conversation, open to working, just open to those forms of interaction, just because like it's very easy to be an artist and become callous and like want to close off to people just because you had, you know, hard experiences. But we should do the things that we didn't get, you know. The more and more we become successful, we should open up the doors, not close them on people just because they didn't do what we want, you know. So that's why I'm thankful for all of this, because this is like an example of like y'all, you know, really like just sharing, you know, like putting someone on. Like, a lot of people don't do that.
Thank you for actually coming out. I know you're a busy man. I also want to thank you for helping us out again for We Got Bars. Definitely appreciate it. And appreciate everything. Let me know how Haiti goes. I'll see you for your producer showcase, Middle East. This is Shimmy. This is
HiFadility.
Master Apparel, HiTproducer.com. Adios.